Hey, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are, whoever you are. This is yours truly, the Grand Queen, coming at you tonight. We got a good one for you. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to everybody. This is the pit stop. And you made it. You made it to another hump day midweek. You made it. Glad to see you tonight. This is yours truly, the Grand Queen, founder and podcast producer of the Just Stop a Show and Mental Health Check-In, our weekly mental health check-in. Yeah, it's been real for a minute, family. You know, but we made it, and glad. And those of you who have tuned in tonight, those of you who are passing through tonight, don't hesitate to subscribe. Go to J Tire, actually YouTube at J Tire One, just us, J Tire One at YouTube. Subscribe and leave us some mental health tips for the week. Leave some mental health tips that will help us get over the hump, help us to get through, some things that maybe we're not aware of. Some of the things that some of the show topics, just, tonight, Wednesday nights is just like, it's like a cool vibe moment. And we just talk about stuff, not randomly. We talk a little bit about things randomly, but it still focuses on your mental health. It is a safe space for you to come and talk about who you are and your mental health journey, where you are in your mental health journey. What are some of the things that you would like to share with us to help us enhance our mental health journey on Wednesday nights? And if you notice that I haven't usually, last year, since the beginning, year before last, we were coming in on Wednesday night like 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock. But you know what? Like 9:30, 10, after those hours, that's the most time when you're pretty much relaxed after 10 o'clock. So, we're going to be coming in right about that time. We're going to be coming in hot right about 10, 10, 15, 10:30, the latest. So, we could kind of gather our thoughts and just have a little, good vibe moment. And before you rest for the night and hey, and get up the next day and get back to it again, get to it, get through it, get with it. Before we move on, just a little friendly disclaimer. The information in my videos are not intended or implied to be medical advice. I am not a medical advisory board. We don't have that on board just yet. We will. That's one of our goals, is to have more medical professional interaction with our local community, doctors, hospitals, clinics. That's one of our goals. As a part of our mission to help create more communication between families and across generations, 16 through 26-year-olds. But now, since I got to this rural area, I'm just thinking more in terms of everybody, not just specifically young people, but this, our mental well-being. It has to do with everybody across generations, because households are changing and they consist of across generations, and the things that's happening to them is across generation, and each generation handles mental health differently. And I'm going to share a story with you about that later. But again, my show and the mission is not, I do not, this is not a substitute for medical advice. Always seek medical advice. Seek your medical team for diagnosis and treatment. All the information that is contained is to enhance your mental health journey, to enhance your well-being. It is for general information purposes only and cannot replace and will not ever be able to replace consultation with your medical professional, with your local doctors, with your primary doctors, pertaining to your well-being, your whole amazing self. So yeah, so here we are Tonight we're talking about the impact of social support system, having a social support system. You know, I was just thinking in terms earlier, every across each generation, they have a different variation of social support, um, depending on what era you come, what era you were born in, millennials, boomers, zoomers, um, new thinkers. Uh, there's other uh, age groups and other sort. We talked about that several times. Um, but whatever age group you're in, 20-year-olds, things like that. There's specific age groups and things like that. So what I'm saying is our social skills and our social support is different. And many of my peers are always talking about, back in the day, young people used to do this, and young people nowadays they don't do this, that, and the third. Um, well, why should they? When this is a whole different era that we are all living in, and we all um, engage differently. But we have to learn how to, you know, come together to collaborate and figure out how to be more social, figure out how to enhance our social selves so we can be able to take better care of ourselves, so we can better communicate among each other better. Because sometimes, the messages could be misinterpreted, um, because between technology and texting and also language skills and writing, it's a whole different game. And many people do not engage in the writing skills and language skills. They don't associate because it's like they have tunnel vision. They're always on technology or AI, which sort of like it dumbs down your language self, your creative self, your ability to just write a sentence, your ability to write and articulate. I'm just saying, it's really a breakdown. It's really it's crazy how it affects our social self. So tonight we're just talking about the impact on social support system. Research published in the Journal of Community Psychology shows that strong social support is linked to better mental health outcomes. In what have we been talking about? Black history, right? Black history making new history. We're talking about the strong social support is linked to better mental health in the Black community. Now, across generation, there is a significant difference across generations and across cultures. So, we want to just stay on topic as far as like general information, but whoever this information reaches, wherever it falls, as my previous producer used to say, whoever reaches, wherever it falls. Trayvon, holla. So social support systems are crucial for mental health and physical well-being. They provide emotional, informational, practical assistance, which can help people cope with stress, improve self-esteem, and foster a sense of belonging. Each generation has their own sense of direction with that. For example, during my era as a younger person, my social support system was my grandparents and my church, because I grew up as a PK kid. I was a PK kid. And so were my children and my brothers and my sisters. So like our social support system was, again, our grandparents, our mom, and our church family. And as things evolved, as our social skills evolved and people began to be more sociable, and more issues started, social issues, human rights issues, and things started developing in church, among the body of people and the community, things started changing as far as the social support system started changing, meaning we started to reach out as we all grew older. We started to reach out to our local communities for support. However, the core social support was the church. Whatever problems we had, and our grandparents, whatever problems we had, it was like the round, excuse me, it was like the round table. They would come together. You had a big issue. Your grandparents, your parents, everybody would come together, sit down, and talk about these things. Um, Things had to do with community and church. They would have a business meeting about it, and things like that. And in other words, it was a different kind of collective effort that was made. Then, as things evolved, and in comes millennials and cross generation, different generations of people, and how they handle the communication, the social skills. Well, they handle social skills differently because social, I have to say, the social support system changed because issues grew more intense. There were much more issues to be aware of during for millennials and forward, compared to the social issues that I had to deal with. What I had to deal with was nothing compared to what our younger people have to deal with. I don't even know if I would feel like uh, a human, so to speak, if I had to deal with some of the things that our young people have to deal with as a young adult, as a young person, just as a middle schooler, like a 10, 12-year-old. There's so many things that they have to be aware of, and parents have to be aware of. So these things are can affect your mental health outcome, and again, it's directly in the Black community. And since this is Black History Month, and it's forthgoing, I mean, we're always making new history. Um, you know, like what do we do for the multiple groups of the demographics for the multiple groups of generations, such as, again, I talked about millennials before. Well, you've got traditional people like myself, baby boomers, builders, which is like people who were born uh, in the um, in the 40s. You've got baby boomers born in the 50s, Gen X born in the 60s, um, and then you've got again, that's Generation X, millennials, and Generation Y, and of the sort, and so forth. So, but each one has a different social support system, and I believe that. Well, first of all, there's 7 generations. I mentioned Generation Z or iGen, and Generation Alpha, the Alpha generation, the Beta generation, which is 2025 to 2039. And that's some new jack right there. I didn't know about Generation Beta. That's some new stuff. So clearly, their social support system is going to be mad different. Born this year, moving forward to 2039. I don't know what the social support system is going to be like for them to be able to communicate and live and take care of their mental well-being. I don't know, but here we are. What's crucial is that we've got to provide the social support system must provide emotional information and practical assistance, valid information, to mental health support systems, to strong mental health support systems as they evolve from age and grade. Also, strong social support systems that are linked to lower rates of depression, lower rates of anxiety, and other mental health issues. Like I said, also rural settings versus urban, it's all different. Urban is fast paced. Urban they have a lot more support, but there's not enough uh, in the system. There's not enough people monitoring. There's not enough, I have to say, methodologies or rules and things like that to monitor that support system. It's a system. And if it's not monitored and I have to say, changed as time goes on, modified as time goes on, according to the group of people's development and according to their progress. And in other words, it's not gauged and monitored properly. The systems in the city versus the systems in rural area. Rural settings, they got a bunch of challenges. And their challenges are geographic isolation, limited resources, smaller populations, which makes it more difficult to prove to legislature that they need help, that they need more sources and resources. It makes it all the more difficult. The strengths in rural support, the strengths of social support systems in rural areas is strong community and close ties, close knit relationships, which characterizes rural areas. It's more family and friend and neighbor oriented. And that's what I found out. It is more family and friendly. You make friends more. It is more friend orientated. You make not just new friends, they play a significant role in your support system and maintaining your well-being, and supporting your mental health, because it's a smaller population, it's closely knitted. In the urban setting, the challenges is, of course, so many people, large, high density, high population density, multicultural diversity, socioeconomic disparities, creating barriers. It's too much. For some people, they like it. They love the vibes. They love the crowd. They love the the excitement. But for some, it's just like sinking to the bottom of the ship. It's like being at the bottom of the ship. It's like being at the bottom of a crab barrel. Like they can't get out mentally. It's like it's too much stress and pressure to be in the urban setting. But some of the strength, I'm just sharing some of the pros and cons. The pros or the strengths in the urban areas. Urban areas offer a wide range of resources. That part. And they offer services, including mental health professionals and community organizations. They do have a lot of organizations and sub-organizations, but again, who's gauging and monitoring those organizations and the systematic approach that they use to really have, for people to have the full effect of services that they need. Now, effective ways to cultivate social support networks. I just gave you an example of my era, the kind of social support network that I had then compared to what I have now. It's vast. It has improved. It is so amazing now because of technology and the links, the things that are linked to the information, the accessibility. Now that could be a problem. Accessibility, not having accessibility to the information, such as not having a computer, not having a car, not having the proper transportation to get from one place to the other. That's the perks of living in a city, what they call sanctuary cities or 5-minute cities, 15-minute cities, meaning transportation, food, shelter, everything is within 15-minute reach, travel time, 15 to 30 minutes the most. That's why they're called sanctuary cities. So that's one of the ways that our generations, millennials, Generation Z, and alphas, that's how they cope with their mental health. But it's not enough. It may not be enough social support. They need somebody to talk. We all need somebody to talk with. We all need somebody to talk with, not somebody talking at us, not somebody talking so much to us, but talking with us, communicating with our spirit, our mind, our heart, seeing us as the other valuable person in the room together with another valuable person. No, it's about value, being able to value one another. And when you're not valued, you just feel like invisible, especially when you're dealing with somebody who may have mental health problems, somebody who may be passing through mental health issues, and that person hasn't acknowledged that something is wrong. um, you're pretty invisible to that person, but you've got to learn how to deal with it and get some support, get some social support on that issue. If not, it's going to be out of control, and then you won't see yourself for who you really are. You will be stumbling in the dark, and it'll just be crazy. Your life will be mayhem. So, like, you need organizations and groups to help you with your social self. Religious groups, community groups, they provide a sense of belonging and support. They're supposed to. Maybe not all of them, but all of them are not, you know, crooked letter S, you know. But there are some who are endeavoring to bring wholeness to your life, who are really working at it. They're not worried about um, the sideshow. They're not concerned about, I don't know. Some of these organizations, they're like a sideshow in my mind. They just sideline and step across the issue and they sweep it under the rug for the next leader, the next person in position to handle. And that's what makes the system broke. That's what makes the system operate as a broken system, when technically we as a people, we are supposed to be able to understand the system and get through the system. Everything has a system. Everything has a systematic approach. The thing is, with people of color, Black people, it's so many barriers that were created in the system to not enhance our lifestyle, but to break it, to groom us as from from conception, to groom us to be a system, to groom us to be, I don't know, like a zombie, to groom us to be a replica. And that's the world over. That's every whatever system it is, that's the world over. But when we find out the truth that we are not a replica of anyone, that we are wonderfully and creatively made, and we're here to live a creative life. That's it. And then when you find other people who understand that, oh, that's really popping. I'm just saying. So, it makes a huge impact on different generations. Now, for generation Y, Z, and Alpha, they millennials, they communicate differently. They're more in terms of, okay, let's talk about it. Um, but then sometimes, talking about something, it can relegate, it has a different form. Talking about communicating things, you can communicate in so many different forms. You can write about it, you can talk about it, the issue, you can blog about it, you can sign language about it. I mean, it's so many ways to communicate your thoughts and your feelings. Um, but for some generations, maybe they just don't feel like writing it out, so they'll sing it out. They'll create some lyrics, the music and stuff like. But even with some of the music that I'm hearing, some of it just sounds so replicated. I'm like, what is the message about? You know, with I don't know, the previous artists from before millennials came into being, they had messages. even though, some of it was, you would have to like listen to it a few thousand times. And some of it may have been had to do with more morality and stuff like that. That's across the board. What I'm saying, it had a message. It had a individual message. It had its own message. It was authentic. That's what I'm saying. But it's hard to find authenticity in the music these days. I'm just saying, so that takes away from your authenticity. If you listen to something that's not helping to enhance your authenticity, your authentic self, then what else are you gonna be? But churn out is another replica of something else and somebody else. But I'm saying tonight, because that has to do with a social music, and things also have to do with the social support network. The way music communicates your life, it communicates your thoughts, it communicates how you feel about morality, certain things in your life and other people's lives. But some of it is just like, where's the solution? You want a social support network that creates a bond, helps you to create a bond with your community, that helps the community to understand you and you understand your community. That's the bond. And that's when friends and family and community come together and they solve issues because you have a strong social network of support. And it also it creates a means of support for your well-being, your mental health. Your mental health becomes a priority then, as so should everybody. So the benefits of strong social support improves academics. Oh God, now that has to do with school. I don't even know, teachers, if y'all listening, teachers across the board, it doesn't matter, early childhood, elementary, middle school, high school, college, whatever. You guys need, and parents and children, you all need a strong social support network. You really, really do, because it's a lot that's going on in the schools, in the school system, and the approach that they use most of it is supposed to reduce behavioral issues. It's supposed to enhance emotional well-being. That's the benefits of, that's supposed to be the ongoing benefit of education. However, it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody holler at me and tell me what are the pros and cons if it's better across generations compared to generation alphas compared to generation Y, and also millennials Z. Give me some feedback. Go to JTire One on at YouTube, just us, JTire One, JTire Form One, and share some social support. Share the difference between how you are, how what your social support system is. I would like to know. Whatever your age is, whatever your group is, what do you do for social support? Who do you communicate with? What are some of the challenges that youth face in the Black community? What are some of the unique stressors, including racial discrimination and socioeconomic disparities? I mean, now we're not talking about being poor. We're talking about poor thinkers. Poverty is created from poor thinking. So technically, the truth, logically, in my mind, there really is no such thing as rich and poor. We're all rich in attributes, rich in wisdom, rich in understanding, and we know how to manifest the right things at the right time. It's just, if you don't have enough social support, if you don't have enough mental health support, if you're not with the right people to collaborate, then it takes longer, and it's a huge struggle. Just share some stuff with me. Share some stuff at JTire Forum 1 at YouTube, and also go to Just Stop It MS, which is Just Stop It Mind Shift. Again, Just Stop It MS.com. Just stop it. MS, M is in mom, S is in Sam. Just stop it. MS.com and share your thoughts on strengthening social support networks from your particular age group, from your particular understanding. And what are some of the unique stressors, including racial discrimination, that you encounter? It's real. No matter what you are, no matter what race you are, we all experience racial discrimination. How do you handle it? What are some of this? What's the social support network that you use to handle that issue? And give an example. Please share, as we're about sharing and getting more understanding and using valid knowledge. This is why we're here. We are here to just stop the mayhem, just stop the misinterpretation, just stop the misinformation that holds you back. Stop the stressors, the labeling. Stop the stigmas that hold you back. Stop labeling yourself and become this whole amazing being. Now, for adults, although all the adults out there, no matter how old you are, the benefits of social support can help you manage stress. Now, if I hear somebody saying stress, church finger, stress. What type of stress, family? What type of stress are you experiencing? And what type of social network do you have to help you to get through that stress? And what are those unique stressors that you're experiencing? And the social network support that you have, is it improving your mental health, and does it foster resilience? Does it make, is your systematic approach, is your social support network helping you to foster resilience? Are you stronger with that network of support? Is it improving your mental well-being with that support? Is it helping you to be the adult? Is it helping you to adult? What they say, we're adulting. Is it helping you to become that adult that you need to be? Some of the challenges adults experience: intergenerational trauma. That's a big one. Intergenerational trauma and systematic racism impacting their mental health and well-being. Intergenerational trauma. Now, we talked about trauma the other week, right? We talked about generational trauma, the impact of generational trauma. Now, here's this one right here. Intergenerational trauma. That, which is pretty much some of the same thing, but it's right? Intergenerational trauma has to do with the transmission of psychological and physiological effects of trauma across multiple generations. So it's the same thing, as I said. It occurs when significant things such as verbal abuse, physical abuse, war, natural disasters, systematic oppression, that has a lasting impact on individuals and families across subsequent generations. That's generational trauma. And these experiences can lead to changes in the body's response system, the body's ability to communicate what he or she needs. Like some people, they are super, super aggressive. Where do they get that aggression from? Aggression has a place for everything. Anger has a place for everything. When it becomes toxic, there's no place for it. It becomes a mental health issue. It becomes a behavioral issue, which is tied into a mental health issue. And it has to do with learned behavior and family dynamics. Parents experience trauma because of this. They struggle to provide a safe and nurturing environment for their children. That happens. Learned behavior develops through unhealthy coping mechanisms, self-medicating, bad conversations, bad parenting, poor parenting, um, substance abuse or violence, verbal abuse as a part of poor parenting. And some parents think that verbal abuse is being a good parent. Not so. Social factors, discrimination, poverty, poor thinking, again, and other social inequalities can really affect intergenerational or generational trauma. So, here we are now for elders. Yeah, I haven't talked a lot, which I really need to talk more about how it affects the aged population. We're going to get into that. The benefits of social support helps to reduce isolation and physical health, improve physical health, and enhance quality of life among the aged population. Because the aged population, they face a lot of barriers, such as accessing social support, such as being able to understand the kind of social support that they need, such as also technology. Some of them can't acclimate to technology. Some of them believe that technology is evil. Some cannot mentally process it. Not to say that they're not intelligent enough to process it, they just can't cope with it. And then you have some who have mobility issues and limited resources, whereas they cannot obtain technology. They do not have the sources to obtain the kind of technology that they need to communicate their needs and to link with the community to help them to enhance their social selves. So yeah, tonight is about understanding the importance of social systems and how they function differently in rural versus urban. So back to the aged community. I talk a lot about what needs to be done among our younger population, our younger people, and families. Now we have intergenerational. We have different household compositions now with the age. The age is very much is more a part of every family household these days because the elderly population, their needs are changing. Technology is growing, but they are not growing with it. They need more housing. They need more doctors. They need more facilitated help. They need more physical, mobile, mental health support. Because they could be in rural areas, they're isolated. And if they do not understand technology and they do not have resources for technology, then that makes it all the more stressful for them, the aged population, physically and socially. So how do we help? Subscribe at JTire Forum 1 and leave some suggestions on how do we help? How do we reduce isolation and improve physical health and enhance the quality of life for our aged population, for our senior citizens? Because you got a lot of kids who's taking care of their parents. You've got younger people taking care of their parents and grandparents. That's a lot. That's a lot. I know it's there. The stats show that it's there. That you got Generation X, you got millennials taking care of parents, grandparents. That's a lot. And their own kids. Then you got alphas who they're trying to figure out, like, probably trying to escape and leave. Like, this is too much. But they've got to learn how to become more of a community minded, because if they help somebody else, believe me, when you help somebody else, it helps you. You just got to rethink it and fit it to your schemata, fit it to the schemata of the community, fit it to start putting the pieces together. It's like the spider. The spider weaves a different web every time. It's different every time. And it's about, the spider is about catching its prey, but mostly it's the pattern for us as a people. It's the pattern that we weave. It's not about catching somebody in our plan. or preying on people. It's about the pattern that we weave to attract each other, to to show that there, yes, there are significant differences among us, but we are about one thing. We're about life. So attraction, that's okay. It's okay to be different. It's why we're different, and it's what we're attracting to make a difference, to make new history, Black history. I'm just saying. So yeah, got a story for you before we go. I think I was going to share this earlier on about the social self. Some of the things, like I mentioned earlier, my social support was my parents and my church at the time, because I've only been in maybe 3 churches in my lifetime. That was my parents, who were my church leaders. They were my pastors and my first pastors, and then it was another pastor that I had a long while back, and then a third pastor that I had. So pretty much I've only, like I said, in my lifetime, I've only had 3. Some people have had several, but I've only had 3 that I've been under leadership, that I've had as a part of my life. So anyway, I've been under the leadership. So anyway, my support system changed as I grew older because of factors such as how my parents handled social issues. Um, for example, things like domestic issues. Um, I'm trying to put it as delicate as possible. Things that had to do with, like, for example, marriage, relationship, should I say? Because the Bible says, the older women, the older people are supposed to teach. The older women are supposed to teach the younger women how to have a good relationship. I'm just paraphrasing. So, we were taught by my parents, how to have like a good relationship, but there were certain things that that were never pinpointed in depth, as far as like romance, as far as like sexual activity, things like that. Those things were never pinpointed. Those things we had to learn on our own. And, but what I did witness was their relationships with the community was phenomenal. It was astounding. And some of the things that they took as women in their own relationship, I don't know if I would have taken that. I don't know. It would have just made like a huge impact on me, on my mental well-being. For example, one of my grandmothers, and she was a church leader. She was a pastor. My grandfather was a pastor, and she was a co-pastor. And I mean, she pretty much made the church. Of the sort she made. I mean, she did everything. She had sponsors outside of the church. They were the first people on our side of the family to buy a synagogue, um, and develop it as a church. And they also lived in it as a home. So it was like, it was a business and their home, which I thought was phenomenal, which also enhanced other community. Their relationship among the community was well known. The thing is, some of the internal affairs was just like crazy. Some of the things the way that some people treated them, and it affected their relationship as, I have to say, as a church couple. I mean, it happens to all church couples. I mean, it's just that I just didn't understand, like, if I were in her shoes, if I were in their shoes, what would I do? It's like saying, what would Jesus do? I'm just saying, because that's how I saw them. I just thought they was like really Christ-like in every way. And then when I found out how human they were, when they had these huge hurdles to go over, to go through, hurdles to come across, to jump across, I was like, who, me? I hope I never go through that. And guess what? I went through that and then more. Even as I speak, what I'm passing through now is crazy. Anyway, that's another story. What I'm saying is, I adore them for the stand that they took in their relationship, even though it was sort of like this person did, it was like an outsider. It was somebody in the church, but the person was so disrespectful. And it just, that person just really tried to destroy the very essence of their name, of the family name, by with bad behavior, just plain long bad behavior. I mean, like, if as a married woman and you got another woman just outwardly showing herself as though she was the wife, showing herself as though she was like a girlfriend, although it wasn't true. It was just her behavior. It wasn't true. It was just her behavior to taint the family name, and to just make everybody's head go bananas. It was so embarrassing, this person, and so hurtful to my grandmother. And I asked her, I said, Grandma, why you let this woman insult you all the time with her behavior? Why do you let her just walk up in your face like that, as though she is the one in your place, like she's trying to take your place? Why do you allow her to do that? And you know what she said to me? This was her social her social support answer. Excuse me. She said, let the wheat and the tares grow together, because eventually all of that's going to come to an end. I was floored. I was like, wow. As for me, I would have whooped some booty, because I used to do that. Now I used to go to church to fight. I used to go to church just to fight. I used to do that. I used to go to church and dare some heifer to roll up on me and say something wicked about my family and misbehave in my face concerning my family. And as the oldest, that's just how I was. My my attitude as a younger woman, I was just very, very aggressive. And I didn't care if I would fight you on the church steps. I'll fight you in the service. If you don't act right, I cap you right there on the prayer line. That's how crazy I was. Um, the thing is, I thank God that I learned so much that that's not the way to live. It's just, how do you handle your mental health? How do you stay cool in a hot moment? How do you come in hot and be cool at the same time? I'm just saying. Because these are social issues, domestic issues. They're in the church, they're in the body, they're in the community. It happens. But how do you deal with those stressors? Because it can affect the quality of life and your mental health. So, but we're talking about strengthening, changing how things evolve. We evolve as individuals, we evolve and we change and we mature and we make great things happen. We manifest good things, and we can also manifest bad too. What's your choice? Good or bad? Sometimes it's a mixture: good, bad, ugly, and nasty. The truth is, when you find out the real truth, take your time to find out the truth. Don't worry about the church organizations, don't worry about the community, but take your time and delve into the truth and match those pieces. You know, it's okay. You're going to have a different web every time. You're going to have a different web of information, a different web and sources of information. When you put it together, it's going to point to the truth, and you'll be fine. You won't be confused about anything, because you need social networks to live an enhanced quality type of life. This is the pit stop coming at you tonight with yours truly, the Grand Queen. For those of you watching tonight, shout out to my kings and queens of Yonkers, my kings and queens of the Boogie Down Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, New York City, Ulster County, Sullivan County, Orange County, Middletown, which is Orange County. Yeah, you know, we digging deep. We're digging deep. We're doing a deep dive into 2025, because we want to be good at what we what we do. We want to get better at what we do. We want to reach our local and global communities so we can just be better together. It's better together. It's really better together, the right way, the right way, right? So, Black History, making new history. Don't forget that we're coming in hot on March 1st, which I believe is next. Is this March 1st? Is it Sunday already or Saturday? When is March 1st? Let me see. You know, it's like February just got here. And here we are coming into March already. When is March 1st? Oh, it's Saturday. My God. Wow. Hmm. Listen, we're going to be all right. Check your social network. Reevaluate your social network and the benefits and challenges. Reevaluate it. No matter how old you are, just start having some conversations and change. It's okay to change. It's all right to change. Some people's like, oh no, grandma and them was like this. I'm going to be like that. Stop playing. How did they get to where they were? It's because they changed. So you got to change for the better, not for the worse. Right? So again, go to J Tire Forum 1 at YouTube. Just us, J Tire Forum 1. Subscribe and leave us some information. Leave us, help us not to feel isolated. Help us to improve our physical health. Help us to enhance our quality of life. That's what it's about. Better together. As I mentioned last Sunday, you, me, we, us. That's what it's about, right? So listen, I'll see you again next Wednesday, and we'll be back at the Just Stop It show on the following Sunday. I believe, to be announced, because we got a couple of great things coming up in the month of March. You've got Daylight Savings Time is coming up, and St. Patrick's Day is coming up, and it's a bunch. Spring is coming. What is the first day of spring? The first day of spring is when? I think the first day of spring is it the 21st? I think the first day of spring. When is the first day of spring? I love spring. I'm a spring baby, so I love spring. I used to love winter, but I don't know. Kind of all these little amazing winter wonderland snowstorms kind of knocked the taste out of my mouth with that one. So I'm kind of like partial to spring. I'm just saying. Let's see. When is the first day of spring? I thought I had it. Yeah, it is. It is March 20th. It's the first day of spring. Woohoo! I can't hardly wait. New beginnings, new flowers, the